Welcome back to another episode of the A Sports Podcast. My name's Art here with my brother Alex.
What's going on, guys? What's going on?
Alex, big weekend of fights. Let's jump right into it because we got a lot to talk about.
Wait, before we talk about the boxing fight, hold on. Nobody click anywhere. Nobody listen to my story. How about your son's game that we watched on Saturday? Hold on. I think I saw a message from God. No, hear me out before you guys even go anywhere.
Okay.
Listen to this story. Okay, we went to your son's baseball game on Saturday. I'm going to make it as quick as possible. We went to your son's baseball game on Saturday, about 8 o'clock, whatever, or 8:30 game that they had. So it was a rough game. You know, they were trailing the majority of the game, almost actually the whole game.
The whole game until
they were trying to play catch up. There was this kid that was on the mound. He gave up 3 runs. He was pitcher for the first inning. Okay, so hear the story out. He was pitcher for the first inning. He gives up 3 runs. You know, the coach takes the ball from him and he's like, you know what? I think he's done. He was having a bad time on the mound. Not sure what happened. So they give the ball to another pitcher. The pitcher gets the job done and then he goes to the bench. You know, the kid's crying, the one that they took the ball from. You know, he's crying. He's upset. He's down on himself. We're down 0-3. And I think the next 2 at bats for the kid, he strikes out. He strikes out. So he's crying on the bench. He's upset at himself. I even heard the parents saying like, how come you don't want to play anymore or whatever. I think he
didn't want to play anymore.
Yeah, I think he didn't want to play anymore. So fast forward, it's the last inning. It's 6-7. The last inning. Your son's team is down.
Yes.
6-7 in the last inning. There's 2 outs. 2 outs. It's 6-7, 2 outs. And that kid is up to bat.
With the bases loaded.
Yeah, the kid that was with bases loaded. Or actually, fast forward this. This is how I know that this was a message from God. Okay, so your son is up first with no outs. He gets beamed. Like, he takes one right to the arm. He actually has a bruise on his arm.
He has a pretty bad bruise.
Yeah, so he gets beamed. I was like, all right, he's on base. That's what we needed, no outs. So we have a chance. Next guy comes up. I think he got out. The other guy comes up. He gets beamed. So he gets hit, and then he gets on base. So, and then your son ends up at third. I think he steals. Yeah, he steals while he's there. And then another guy gets, what did he get? A full count?
Walked.
Yeah, he got walked, right? So what are the odds that this kid, the kid that was about to give up, on himself, who was crying on the bench, he's up to bat, 6-7, 2 outs, full count. He gives the pitcher a full count. It's 3 balls, 2 strikes. On the last swing, he freaking just drills it, man. Walk-off grand slam. I was like, what? What? Like, that's how I knew that this was a message from God. Like, you can't give up on anything you do because you can rob yourself of what was to happen, Yeah. Say he gives up on himself. He doesn't hit that grand slam. He doesn't give himself that chance. So, hey, tip my hat off to him. We're still in first place. I say we because I go and I watch it, man. You see these sunburns, man? I got sunburn all over the place, man. In the sun, man. I'm part of the team.
You almost are the team.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
All right.
I ain't showing up for no losses.
Yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed that story. It was a fun afternoon. If you guys haven't been to Little League games,
hey, they get exciting.
Do yourself a favor and go check out a good Little League game because
Little League World Series, all that stuff, even on TV.
Fun.
I used to love watching the Little League World Series.
Yep, they are very fun. All right.
Let's get into some boxing.
Josh Taylor, I mean, is there anywhere else to start? Josh Taylor becomes the undisputed champion at junior welterweight. In what was, I thought it was a great fight. A lot of people, thinking it was one-sided, and I thought it was a good close fight or a great close fight. But in the end, I think Josh Taylor did do enough to pull out the win. Congrats to him, being undisputed champion. I think they said it was the 6th time since the 4-belt era started, and I believe that was in the 90s. So it's hard to get off all the belts with all the politicking going on, but shout out to Josh Taylor and Jose Ramirez for stepping into this scenario of trying to be undisputed champion.
Yeah.
Thoughts on the fight? Let's talk about the fight.
I mean, it was I thought it was a good fight. I thought Ramirez, he got off to a really good start. I I thought he was going to be able to break Taylor. It seemed like it was going that way for the first 6 rounds up until he got dropped. Mm-hmm. It seemed like he was sticking to the game plan. Like he was mixing up his combinations to the head, to the body, and he was hitting him with some really good shots. So and he was able to get Taylor on the ropes a number of times, which I feel he was able to let his hands go and attack the body. And but in that 6th round, man, when he got clipped with that straight left right on the chin, oh man, that was a tough thing to watch because he was definitely wobbled when he got up.
Definitely hurt.
How he got up, I don't know. I mean, I think at that point it was just, he stuck to what he know. I mean, the dude's a warrior, but yeah, he definitely got clipped pretty bad. He goes down, he gets up somehow, and he keeps going. And then what was the round where he gets dropped again?
7th, the very next round.
Yeah, the very next round there was a dispute on Kenny Bayless. He was gonna break the fight, or he was gonna separate them because they were in a clinch, and he ends up just tapping them on the shoulder, and Josh Taylor takes advantage of it, and he lands a monstrous uppercut that floors Ramirez again, and again he was really wobbled. He got up from that one, and he finished the fight. But yeah, I mean, I think it was a good showing by both guys. I mean, but Taylor, he definitely showed that he's a crafty dude, and he took advantage of openings, and I think he did hey, you got to do whatever you got to do to win. And even in the late rounds of that fight, he did do that little he just pot shotted him and then hold him, pot shot him, hold him,
move around, just stay away.
And if Kenny Bayless allowed it, I mean, then he'd allowed it. I mean, Taylor did what he needed to do to win the fight, and I mean, you can't be mad at it. I eat crow where we eat crow.
Yep.
I mean, I said that Ramirez is going to win by knockout. At least I come out and say it. Hey, it's just
we were wrong.
It is what it is. Taylor fought a good fight. And he was a better man that night. What about you? What'd you see?
In these type of fights, you got to be great. I think Jose Ramirez put up a good fight.
Yeah.
But like I said, you got to be great, and I think Josh Taylor did a great job on Saturday night of executing his game plan. And like you said, taking advantage of little openings. I think Jose Ramirez overextended. He didn't overextend a lot. A lot of the times it didn't, like Josh Taylor didn't have that space to counterpunch when Jose Ramirez was coming in, except that one punch in the 6th round. I think he caught Ramirez maybe a little bit relaxed. Ramirez a little, not careless, but I'm gonna say, he was.
He didn't bring his punch back.
Not only that, but he did kind of lunge in more than he was throughout the fight. So,
and I think he just didn't expect, for
there we go,
Taylor to have that.
He might have caught
power.
him off guard, with that first knockdown, and then the second knockdown. Jose Ramirez did that throughout the first half of the fight. If you go back and watch it, whenever there was a clinch, Jose Ramirez wasn't really holding. You gotta grab the guy. If it's a hold, you gotta grab the guy, because the ref's going to break it up, and you don't want the guy to have his hands free to throw punches. And I think Jose Ramirez in the first 6 rounds, whenever there was a clinch, he was, kind of just relaxing, waiting for Kenny Bayless to come in and break it up, because Kenny Bayless was coming in and breaking him up pretty quickly. And I noticed that. I noticed, watching it back, Jose Ramirez was a little relaxed on the breaks. You can't do that. You got to be... You got to always be ready, always defending yourself. I don't think it was a dirty shot. I don't think it was a mistake by Kenny Bayless. I just think it was a mistake by Jose Ramirez that, ultimately, I think that's what cost him the fight, because it took a lot out of him. I think that second knockdown took a lot out of him.
No, I mean, I think both of them did, because he got up and his legs were wobbly, man.
Yes.
How he got up from those, I don't know, but
I felt like he recovered well from the first knockdown, because that second half of the 6th round, I thought he did fairly well.
Yeah, he hung in there.
And the beginning of the 7th round, I thought he started it well. I don't think he won those rounds by any means, but I thought he did well. That after that second knockdown, it took him a long time to recover. And also Josh Taylor took his foot off the gas at the end.
Yeah.
That's something that I would like to see Taylor not do. You can't take your foot off the gas in fights of this caliber. I'm not saying, he should have gone for the knockout, but his punch output really went down a lot after that second knockdown in the 7th round. So, you got any more comments on the fight?
Not really. I'm just glad we got to watch a good, two guys willing to put it all on the line, for the undisputed title. A lot of, this doesn't happen a lot. I think the next time we're going to see it is Canelo and Caleb Plant. And that's because Canelo has this big name, Sometimes guys just don't get that chance to unify the division.
And maybe Joshua Fury, if it happens.
Oh yeah.
Those are the closest chance we have to undisputed fights coming up.
Yeah, so tip my hat off to both guys, and I think there's some things that Ramirez can correct, but then again, it's it's harder. Like he says, it's harder when you're in there than when you're outside.
Yes.
On the outside, you see different things. You know what I mean? You think it's that easy. It's not.
Nope.
You know what I mean? It's fucking hard to get in there and scrap. So, hey, tip my hat off to these guys, and can't wait to see what's in store for both of them.
Yeah, I think Jose Ramirez, I don't know. I went to go visit them back in April when Ramirez was just starting sparring, and he looks big for 140. Robert, I think, mentioned in an interview that he came in a little light the week of the fight, so they don't think 140 is a big issue for Ramirez. So I think him staying at 140 might make a little bit of sense, but of course we'll have to see how he recovers from this fight. And then Josh Taylor's pretty tall for 140.
Yeah, he's a big guy.
So I don't know, defending the undisputed belts is difficult because that's 4 organizations that you have to defend for. And all 4 organizations probably have different mandatories. So,
yeah,
eventually he's going to have to probably get stripped of one of the belts or something, some odd thing.
He was talking about his next fight might be the mandatory, one of the, what's his name? Catterall, or what's his name? He's a mandatory for Josh Taylor for one of the belts. But he's a guy that nobody knows. I think
Bob Arum, I think they just want to do a fight in Scotland.
Oh, yeah.
Overseas for him, which would be nice for him, at 140. But I think eventually the move to 147 for Josh Taylor is inevitable.
Yeah.
There's a lot of talks about Terrence Crawford at 147. I don't know if with his style or his the way he went about the second half of that fight against Ramirez, if he would fare well against Crawford, because Crawford just gets stronger as the fight goes along. So it'll be interesting to see, like you said, what happens with both guys. Yeah, I thought it was a great fight. Hopefully everybody enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Cool. Moving on. Let's talk a little bit about the undercards. Chon Cepeda got a win over Hank Lundy. That was terrible.
Yeah, John Cepeda didn't look too good.
No, he did not. Elvis Rodriguez, undefeated prospect.
Another guy I don't know.
For Top Rank, he was upset by Kenneth Sims Jr., and rightfully so. I thought Sims, put on a good boxing performance in the ring, and I definitely beat Elvis Rodriguez.
I skimmed through that fight, but every time I skimmed through it, it seemed like Elvis was getting his head snapped back.
He just didn't throw enough punches. I don't know. He was kind of in cruise control, and he didn't really have any urgency to really, win that fight.
Right.
So there goes another undefeated prospect for Top Rank. The main event of not the main event, but like the main fight of the prelims, I guess you could say, undercards, was Jose Enrique Vivas against Luis Coria. Dude, this was a freaking phone booth battle.
Yeah.
Huge fan of Coria. He's been on the bad end of some rough decisions, and this one was no different.
Yeah. It was a rough fight. I think for when did he drop him in that second round?
Third
round? Yeah, so I thought Luis Coria did enough to come out with this win. If you're gonna tell me that Vivas did enough to come out with this win, he got dropped twice, and then he gets a point deduction, and you mean to tell me he's gonna come away with this win? Boxing is corrupt as hell. But it was a close fight, but I think Coria did enough. I surely as hell don't think that Vivas did enough to come out with that win. So I mean, it is what it is. It sucks because Luis Correa is a guy that he's been giving tough fights to a couple of the guys. He fought Blue Nose, gave him a tough fight. The last guy he just fought, he upset him. They robbed him again, and now in this one he gets robbed. Mm-hmm. So he did gas out in the second half of that fight.
Yeah,
I want to say probably the fourth, maybe the third round. He looked like he kind of got gassed. Mm-hmm. Don't know what happened, but I think if he works, maybe a little bit more road work and see, what adjustments he can make to his just to the stamina, so he doesn't gas out in fights. I think he can be a real force. So yeah, I mean, tip my hat off to Luis Correa because it's not easy to get in there and scrap, especially when they're bringing you here to lose.
Yep.
You were supposed to lose to Vivas. You know what I mean? So, and actually, you're supposed to lose to all three of these guys that they put you in against, and then I thought you upset them, and then they rob you. So, yeah, I mean, I think Top Rank should be sued by somebody. That's why Mikey sued him.
Maybe that's why
they pull crap like this.
Correa, I think Mikey's Correa's favorite fighter, so maybe that's why he's not getting the decision.
Yeah, that could be. This is Mikey's fault. Mikey sued him.
The judges had Correa winning only 3 rounds. The round where he got the 2 knockdowns. And then the round where the point was deducted from Vivas, which was round 4, and then all 3 judges had like one different round that Correa won on their card. Other than that, they gave 5 rounds to Vivas, which it was hard to find 5 rounds to give definitively to Vivas. But hey, that's what happens. But props to both guys because that was a great fight.
Yeah, real good fight.
Couple guys on the undercard. Javier Martinez got a knockout over Calvin Metcalf, who had never been stopped. Knocked him out pretty nasty. Metcalf convulsed a little bit on the floor, but he was able to get up and he was okay. Raymond Murataya. Now that guy is a beast. He looked really good in there against Jose Gallegos, 20-10. Murataya, I think this was his 12th fight. He's a kid with a high ceiling. So next time he's up to fight, I'm sure we'll talk about him more so you guys can check him out. But I think that's Andres Cortez and Jose Ramirez. I mean, those guys didn't look too impressive. So I guess that's it for boxing. Moving on to some UFC. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the Top Rank card on ESPN. Oh wait, the commentary on ESPN was terrible. The whole production was terrible.
When has it been good?
Yeah. I hate that they go to commercials during the in-between rounds. Like, show us some of the corners talking. But yeah, it is what it is.
The only good part was Tyson Fury saying the B word on live TV and the guy getting all scared about it.
Oh, my God. This is the B word. Moving on. Rob Font got himself a victory over Cody Garbrandt at a UFC Fight Night. Alex, talk to me about Rob Font over Cody Garbrandt.
Yeah, I mean in the preview podcast, I did pick Rob Font to beat Cody Garbrandt. I think he's just more durable is the thing. I think that's what it came down to. I think I thought if Cody doesn't get a knockout by the second round, I feel like he just doesn't have how can I say it? He doesn't have the style against a durable guy that can hit hard. We haven't seen Cody Garbrandt fight 5 rounds since he fought Dominic Cruz. And say what you want about Dominic Cruz, but he isn't the hardest puncher out there. There's guys that can really crack. And Dominic Cruz isn't, one of those guys that can knock you out in one shot. So that suits Cody Garbrandt because he's the harder puncher. And I feel like his punches do damage more against a guy like Dominic Cruz. But when in a fight like this against a guy like Rob Font, who is just more durable at taking punishment, and he's able to take the punches in order to give his. And Cody Garbrandt did say he had an answer for that jab. I don't think he did.
Nope.
I mean, he was getting tagged a lot, and it seemed like he gassed out by the second round. It seemed like he was breathing heavy. The body shots were bothering him. Although what I did see was something that I mentioned in the preview podcast. I wanted to see Cody Garbrandt go for some takedowns.
And he did.
And he did go for takedowns.
Yeah.
Which really surprised me because that showed that Cody Garbrandt is able to mix it up. He's not the old Cody Garbrandt that gets caught one time and here he comes. You know what I mean? Like there's no need for that. You know what I mean? So I'm glad that he used his wrestling. He scored like 5 takedowns, 6 takedowns?
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, I mean
he just wasn't able to do anything with them. That's the problem.
Yeah, he wasn't able to do anything from the top, and it did seem like he was kind of in survival mode a bit. I mean, I had a really bad day betting. Like, how is it that Cody Garbrandt makes it through this fight? It looked like second round going out like done. Yeah, it looked like he was taking a good amount of shots in that second round. So I was like, man, there's no way he makes it out of this fight. I was like, if you look back at the other fights, I mean, Cody Garbrandt usually doesn't make it out if he's taking this type of punishment.
Yep.
Somehow he makes it out. I'm like, I don't know what happened, but yeah, I mean, Rob Font gets a big win. I think he's a title contender now. He's up there in the rankings, and hey, Cody Garbrandt versus Sean O'Malley. This is setting it up right now. I'm calling this.
Yeah. I agree there because I thought if he would have lost to a Sunsao, like that was it. Like he was going to get fed to these up and comers. But then he pulled off that big victory. We talked in the preview podcast about Cody Garbrandt's issues with COVID, pneumonia. I believe he had a bad shoulder. Mm-hmm. He had something on his insides, like kidney failure or something like that.
I didn't know they had to drain like fluid out of his kidneys and
stuff like that.
So maybe that, I mean, this was his first fight since all the COVID stuff happened. So maybe that had an effect on his cardio.
Yes. And that's what I wanted to mention.
And there's no tune-up fights in the UFC. I mean, if you're coming, you got to come and fight, the best or wherever you're ranked. They're not feeding you one of these guys from the bottom. Like, nope. You have to fight these guys that are hungry, guys that have been active and you haven't. So, maybe that might have played a factor in Cody Garbrandt's cardio. Maybe him getting into the octagon a little more, maybe it gets better.
Maybe, but I mean, taking this kind of punishment is not good either. So
I didn't say it was good. I didn't say it was good, but
no, I know. Like I know what you mean by him.
Hey, at least he took the shots.
Yeah,
he got knocked out this time.
He took the shots, but man, it looked like during times of the fight where it was like, okay, Cody, like that's enough. Even his corner, I think his corner should have looked at him pretty close and been like, hey,
Do you think he was in a position to get stopped though?
Look.
I think he was he was getting tagged, but I don't think he was in a position to kind of like. What pissed me off about Rob Font was he wasn't cutting the octagon off.
Yeah.
He was chasing him around. It's like, what are you doing? You got to cut it off a little bit.
Yeah.
And every time he was hitting Cody Garbrandt would circle, and Rob Font would chase him instead of cutting the octagon off. And I just felt like he didn't have to throw just jabs. I feel like he could have threw a little bit more right hands, a little more combinations, and maybe he could have got the stoppage. But for whatever reason, I think he just decided to just wear him down and win the fight.
Rob Font's got to be in line for a title shot. I mean, the problem is at what is this, featherweight, right? Or
bantamweight.
Bantamweight. Sorry, bantamweight. The problem is that the Peter Yan Aljamain Sterling fight ended so controversially that if you go to any other contender, Peter Yan's getting screwed out of his title shot. Like he deserves the rematch. True. And Rob Font also deserves a title shot. So I mean, do a 3-way fight.
Right. I mean, I hope that they don't do like Peter Yan versus Rob Font.
No.
In the time that but Aljamain Sterling's recovering from his.
Oh, that's right. He had surgery, didn't he?
Yeah, he's recovering from his neck surgery, his concussion that he had or something that apparently he had. I don't think so.
Dude, he got kneed in the head.
Hey, your son got hit by a baseball. You don't see him in the hospital.
Well, he has got a bruise the size of a baseball on his arm.
Yeah, but I'm saying there's a good chance Peter Yan and Rob Font maybe, or Rob Font and who else is up there in that division for the bantamweights?
I'm trying to think who's the other one.
Because Cody Garbrandt was ranked fourth.
I think he was 4 or 5. Rob Font was 3.
Right.
And then Peter Yan, I believe, is number 1 with Aljamain Sterling as champion. Sandhagen.
Oh, yeah. Corey Sandhagen and
Sandhagen.
TJ Dillashaw are going to square off.
Eventually, hopefully. Oh, well, Dillashaw's not even ranked yet because he's barely coming back from that suspension.
So you go from unranked and you have to fight Corey Sandhagen, who's ranked number 2?
Dude, after 2 years of not fighting, 2.5 years?
2.5 years.
Shit.
And you have to fight the second ranked guy in the division.
Yeah.
See what I mean? There's no tune-ups.
There is no tune-ups at all. Also on this card, actually, you know what? I was going to say Rob Font looked like a tank coming towards Cody Garbrandt, and Cody Garbrandt just wilted.
Hey, he looked really durable.
Yeah.
Is the thing. And he looked strong. And although he did get taken down, he was able to get back up.
Yeah, like
so,
I said, Cody couldn't do anything with the takedowns.
Yeah, maybe if he works on some of his on his takedown defense, maybe he can put it all together. And he's got the reach that's why he uses a good jab. And so I feel like his straight punch is really it's not just that he uses the jab, he calculates it. He walks you down, he uses the jab when he wants, and if you think about it, Cody Garbrandt said that he had an answer for it. But then again, when you're having to move your head, you're having to move away from a guy who's coming straight at you. That takes a lot of stamina to do that.
Yes, it does.
Especially when you're not used to fighting and moving your head all the time.
Yes, it does.
So,
moving on the undercard, the co-main event, Carla Esparza put a beating on Yan Xiaonan. She literally came out in the first round, and in the first 5 seconds, she had her down. She went for a takedown right away.
Crucifixed her, elbowed her,
nasty,
cut her open, sliced her.
Yep. So that was a good win for Esparza. I believe she was ranked number 4. This was number 3 against number 4 at the strawweight division. So, I mean, she's got to be close to a title shot also.
She's always been there. It's just, I'm not sure. I mean, Tatiana Suarez was a girl that was coming up in the strawweight rankings, but I think she went up because I saw in an interview that she recovered now. She got medically cleared to fight, but she won't be at strawweight anymore. She will be at the 125-pound division. So that may leave Carla Esparza a chance to get in there with maybe Joanna Jędrzejczyk, but if she can get a chance at the title because Jędrzejczyk has already lost twice to Rose Namajunas, who knows? And
lost to Wei Li Jing, so maybe Wei Li Jing against Joanna Part 2, Esparza for the title. I mean, that would be good.
Or Zhang and Carla Esparza.
There we go. And then, but then that leaves Jędrzejczyk to fight for the title, and I mean, I don't know. I'm not a fan of Jędrzejczyk fighting for the title right now.
Oh no.
Maybe she fights Mackenzie Dern.
Maybe. Yeah.
And then Rose has to wait for the winners of those, and
well,
I don't know how long Rose wants to wait after she had a one round knockout of Wei Li Jing.
I'm saying anybody in that 125-pound division that is not Valentina Shevchenko, you guys better watch out for Tatiana Suarez, because Tatiana Suarez is a beast. She's like the Khabib of the women's division.
Tatiana Suarez.
You never heard of her?
Yes, I have.
Yeah, she's a really good wrestler.
All right. I don't think there was any other fights on the I mean, we watched them, but fights on the undercard that really stood out to me. Not really, or any fighters that really stood out to me.
I mean, I know Justin Tafa got upset by Jared Vandera. Yeah. Which Justin Tafa was the favorite to win. Felicia Spencer
got upset.
Yeah, she got upset. Who else? Who's Edmund Shabazian?
Lost,
he still can't get it together. You take him down, he's done.
I mean, Jack Hermansson's
is
still in the top 5, I think. Of the middleweight rankings. So, yeah. I mean, that was a good win for Hermansson.
Right.
Anything else UFC you want to mention real quick?
Not really. I mean, who fights next weekend? Is that Moreno and Figueiredo, or is that? No, we still got months for that one, right?
No, we got like 3 weeks, I think, for that one.
3 weeks.
Next week, I believe we have Rosenstrike.
Yeah, you know what kind of upset me about Cody Garbrandt?
What?
He was talking bad about my man Brandon Moreno.
What? Oh, his style, huh?
Yeah, he was saying that that if Brandon Moreno could crush a grape, that he would have a better chance at beating Vivas and Figueiredo. Well, guess what? You can't train this. And Brandon Figueiredo Brandon Moreno's. Yeah, Brandon Moreno's got it, all right?
Yeah.
Like, he may not be the hardest hitting guy out there, but he stands in there, man.
We don't have any UFC coming up this weekend, but the following weekend, June 5th, I believe it is. Yeah, June 5th, Rosenstrike's taking on Augusto Sakai, battle of 6 versus 9 at heavyweight. Walt Harris taking on Marcin Tybura, battle of 8 against 11 at heavyweight.
The big ticket.
Ponzinibbio is on the undercard. He's making his way back up. All right. We all good?
Yeah, I think we're good. I mean, I think we covered everything, and yeah.
Again, congrats to Josh Taylor on his unification of the 140-pound belt. It's amazing to see an undisputed champion these days with all the politics and stuff going on. So for those guys to be able to make that fight happen and to put money aside, because I'm sure they had to take a little pay cut to make that undisputed fight work. Props to them though. And thank you guys for watching this episode of the A Sports Podcast. We'll talk to you guys next time.
Peace out, guys.